Hello, my name is Dmitry, and we continue to build an e-commerce website that will go into production. In this video, we will work on continuous integration, Eslint rules, and the way how we work with our environment variables. Let's move the X ticket into progress. Let's create new branch called feature dx plus Nx. Dx stands for development experience. But first of all, let's talk about why am I using Nx. Nx gives me lots of tools to work with multiple projects at scale. For example, let's run Nx print affected target build select projects. It should print every project that have build target on it. As you see, it doesn't print anything. But let's modify a web project. For example, we will specify a type, incorrect type actually, but we're fine with that at the moment. As you see, web project was modified. Now I can run tests for modified projects. Nx affected. As you see, I have one failing test for web project. So that actually helps a lot when you're working with multiple projects on scale. So you can run only specifically those projects which was modified. And also Nx gives you ability to observe your packages and dependencies of those packages. By running Nx graph, we can show all projects. And you see that pretty much everything that we got, our libraries and the projects right in place. And you see we have this weird dependency when our web project actually depend on DB generated types. And I don't want this to be happening in actually my projects, because it will pull lots of packages. Let's scroll on the top. It will pull in my front-end application some Nest related packages, and I don't want this to happen in my application because it will increase my bundle size dramatically, and I don't want this to happen. How to avoid this? Nx gives you ability to actually enforce model boundaries, and we will enforce those boundaries right now. Let's install lots of Eslint plugins. Don't worry, I'll paste everything in video description. I have my Eslint configs from other projects. I'll just copy paste those. And what we got? I have simple prettier RC, nothing special. Prettier ignore to ignore my generated types. Eslint ignore to ignore generated types. And also lots of changes for Eslint RC file. As you see, inside enforced model boundaries, we have a bunch of rules. The project with source stack scope shared can only be depend on scope shared. Scope API could be depend on scope shared and API for web and share. So how it works? As you remember, we imported incorrect type for our web projects, and now you can see an error says a project tagged with scope web can only depend on libs tagged with scope shared or scope web. And that's exactly what I want from my application, because I don't want to have an API related libraries inside my web projects. So yeah, I'll remove that. To fix all my errors, I can simply run Nx affected lint fix. Actually all. I have a bunch of errors there. Let's check those out. I don't care about warnings. Here, yeah, that's a good catch. Let's remove this one. What else we got? Top level await. I'm not gonna actually use that. I'm happy with that, and I'll suppress unicorn. We will talk about unicorn in a few moments. A project without tags. Yeah, that's also a good catch. I just forgot to specify a scope for that. API. That's API project. And what else we got? I guess we're good. Let's run it one more time. Yep, we're good. Let's check out our Eslint rules and what's about unicorn. I have a bunch of plugins and nothing special. TypeScript, Eslint, Narwhal that comes by default. Also, I have unicorn. This one I highly recommend to use. Actually, this will force you to use contemporary JavaScript methods and will help you to avoid some weird issues. I'm using prettier with Eslint and also unused imports. So as you see, nothing special, and also you can modify it in whatever way you want. You can use different styles and plugins if you want to use those. That's not a strict rule, and it's really your personal preferences. Also, I spotted that inside API generated DB types, I'm having just empty file there, and I don't need this one. And actually, let's run affected lint. Now it says nothing to lint, and yeah, there's nothing to lint. Let's actually remove lint command from there, from DB generated types project JSON. Now let's run it one more time, and it's happy. Yay! And I want this to happen on each pull request, so my code verified and tested on each pull request. How can I do it? In Nx recipes, we have continuous integration using GitHub Actions recipe. Also, you can use yours with Jenkins, GitLab, Bitbucket. I'm gonna use GitHub Actions. As you see, that's a pretty simple command, and we will run a bunch of Nx commands to verify our affected code. But before do that, I actually want to verify my code locally. Let's add command called verify. What this command will do? It will lint our workspace. It will format write and format check for us. It also will Nx affected lint fix for us. It will try to test our targets, and also it will build our project. And also it will exclude web project. And why is that? Let's try to build a web project. Nx run web build. As you see, I'm having a weird issue with the types and how to resolve that. Let's go inside tsconfig. As you see, it added here a line for dist types. And actually, we want to exclude dist types. We don't need build types to be checked. And let's run it one more time. Now it wants us to spin up a server to generate static pages. And actually, during CI step, I'm not sure if I gonna have server itself. I'm not sure about it. I may fix that, and I'll build during CI the actual static pages. But I'm not really sure about that at the moment, so I'll exclude build step for Nx at CI step. Let's try to verify our code. As you see, we have failing tests, and that expected. Let's try to fix those. Inside web project, we have only one test. Let's fix it. The page run page, await, because it's async component. Async await as unknown as React element. And parenthesis here. Let's run it. Yep. Also, we should mock our GraphQL request. So GQL from data access, get users, mock result value, users, I guess. An empty array will be fine for this case. Yep. Pretty dummy tests. You should write your own test that will actually test the behavior of a component. And for a resolver test, we should just include Prisma here, Prisma service here, and inside here as well. Let's open the terminal and actually run verify one more time. Yep, we're good. Let's actually run GitHub action now. Let's create new file, new folder actually, GitHub workflows, and call it on PR.yaml. Let's copy over this GitHub action. Let's call it also on PR. And let's push everything inside our branch. Yeah, that's pushed. Let's head into actions. Actually, I should issue pull request. Create pull request. You see, merging is blocked. And we have an action for our pull request. And it does whatever we did locally. Let's wait for it. As you see, we failed at lint step. We can fix that by linting everything. Nx effect lint fix all. And yeah. Skip Nx cache. As you see, we have some changes there, because those wasn't affected, and yeah, it was initial lint, and we should lint everything. It will trigger one more job. And let's check if it will succeed. Now actually build failed. Let's check why. Yes, because it tried to actually build our web project. So let's exclude that from here. Let's hope less time, wait for a build. Now we're good, and we could be sure that our code is in perfect state during continuous integration stage. Let's actually get into our pull request, and you see all checks have passed. But we have some stuff to do. In larger scale project, you can have lots of environments like development, testing, demo, production, staging, and whatever. And for each environment, you have different environment variables. And to work with that, in NestJS, for example, we have already a folder with environment variables. Let's actually remove prod environment variables because we're not gonna use those. And let's remove file replacements. yeah, that. And inside environment, let's call it API env is prod. It will be process.env.okino.env. I'm not using nodejs because NestJS could override it. Actually, let's add this okino.env inside our local env file and bunch of other variables that we need. We need port, and for a web project, we also need a URL for our GraphQL server. Let's implement that. So also we need API port. API port, that's a strict port. Also it's gonna be number and db URL. Okino db URL. Yeah, and let's write interface for that. API env prod API port number and also db string. Yep. Let's assign interface to it and actually use our API env inside our application. So here we can say const API env and is prod and API. So content security policy only in prod and port from environment variable. And we're good. Let's do this for a web project as well. Let's create a folder called and file environment.ts, and let's do the same. Export const web env is prod process.env .env.okino.env. Yep. And also API URL GQL URL process okino web GQL URL. That's it, I guess. Export interface prod boolean API GQL URL string. Let's assign interface and inside data access let's import our environment variables web env API API.GQL URL. That's it. Also, I would like to verify my environment variables on each environment and on each run of my application. To do that, I'll create a tool called environment, and I'll paste my validation files script there. As you see, here's I got nothing special. That's just class validator classes. It will do plain to instance. We'll get web env object and we'll instantiate it and I'll validate it. The same actually for an API. Pretty much the same. Let's write a command to actually run it. Let's call it validate env web env, and don't just validate, I guess. Validate web env. Yep. And let's run ts node with the project tools tsconfig, and that's a link for tsconfig tools environment. That was a web. Validate web. Let's try to actually run this one. Yep, it means it works. Let's do the same for API. API env. Let's call it API env. Let's try to run it. That works. We can actually modify URL and try to validate our web environment, and as you see, it fails. Let's get it back. Try one more time. And it's good. Yeah, so on each run, I'll verify my environment and I'll see early if I messed up my environment configs or something like that. What also useful to have is seed files. On fresh environment, I would like to have already some users or already some content in the future to be inserted in my database before I'm actually running my project. It's called seeding your database. Let's head into Prisma docs, and here you have docs about how to seed your database. Let's copy over. Whoops. Yep. This piece of code, and inside tools, let's create new directory called database seed.dev.ts. We're not gonna do it like that, but the rest of it we will use. We should have our seeds inside our main database. Let's actually create seeding data file, seed.data.ts. Here we will have an users seed data. That's gonna be array. It actually should be const, and it user, just user please. Yes, exactly database types, because we need it for database. And here we will have an ID, email, admin@okina.com. What else do we have? Name, I guess. Administrator, Okina, and password. I'll have my hashed password, and ID should be string. Yep, we're good to go. Inside here we can await promise all, and for each user we have to return my user observed actually. User ID, update user, create user. Okay, and what's up with my brackets? Good. Missing one. Okay, so as you can see, I'll form array of promises and I'll resolve those in parallel, and I'll observe every user inside my user's data. Let's create a seed script, comment. db.seed.dev, and it's gonna be ts node tools, ts config tools, pretty much what I need. Database seed.dev.ts. Let's run DB Studio. As you see, I don't have anything inside my database yet. And run DB seed. Finished. Let's refresh. And you can see I'm having my user inside. And on each run of my development environment, I'll try to seed my database. We have lots of commands that we have to run in order to start our development environment. And actually, I want to simplify that by running serve all. As you see, we have npx concurrently, kill others on fail, and we will run everything that starts with the name start. We have API and web at the moment. Let's try to run those. As you see, we starting those in parallel. That's okay. But we also should verify everything. Verify our environment. Start verify env by doing npm run validate web env or the API env web env API env. Yes, right. Let's try to run it. It validates it. Also, we should start our database environment. We should migrate our database. And also we should seed our database after we did successful migration. And also we should watch for Prisma schema changes. Let's write the command. Start db watch, I guess, because we will watch for something. And npm run db migrate. Also, first of all, we will npm run docker dev and db migrate and npm run seed dev and Prisma generate -- watch. Yeah, let's try to run it. So as you see, it spins up. Okay, yeah, let's try to fix our migration actually. Yeah, I have some migration, and as I said, we will keep everything under one migration during development stage. Yeah, init synchronized. Yeah, we're generating a Prisma client. Let's run it one more time to see if it works with the seeded database. It works. Let's check if everything we got inside our Prisma Studio is only one record. Yep, we good. Start web API, and what else do we need? Yeah, we should also watch for Graphql changes. Let's just start GQL watch. Let's try to run it. Yep, watches for changes. And I would like to have some sections. Start section. Just call it Nx section. Whoops. DB section. DB docker dev. Let's have the same prefix for everything. that related to database. Let's keep it under the same line. Verify. Let's just let's call it tools. And what I'm validating here, environment, yeah. Yeah, by having that, it's easy to navigate through my package.json when I have those sections. Let's try to actually run everything concurrently and see if it works. As you see, we're running lots of stuff at the moment, but if something will fail, it will stop this process. As you can see, we can now launch our website by running only one command. And this command will verify our environment. It will spin up our database. It will spin up backend server, frontend server. It will generate our Graphql types. So everything in one place. And if we will have like new developer in our team, it will need only to install Docker, clone repo, and PMI serve all to run our development environment. Isn't it beautiful to have only one command to run everything at once? Let's actually push our changes in our remote. You need super development experience. Let's add a version file into our commit and push everything into remote. As you see, it runs new action. Let's wait for it. Yep, we failed at format check. Let's actually run our verify command. It should fix our files and run our tests. Yep, as you see, we have some changes there. Let's push those and wait for new job. Testing, verifying, and building your code might be not the most fun part, but it has to be done. And now we are ready to merge our pull request. I can't approve it myself, so squash and merge. That's it for this video. In the next video, we actually start to implement a user feature and we will work on homepage. And if you liked, hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.